Hi, in this video, we're going to answer the question, how to get out of a lazy mindset. Many people use that label for themselves when it really isn't about being lazy. It really is about motivation and limiting beliefs. So let's delve into that subject. The first part of this video, we're going to talk about motivation and how that is linked to this idea of being lazy. Then we're going to get into the limiting beliefs that are associated with that label. We're going to look at some strategies that you can utilize to change that mindset. We're going to look at the importance of accountability and the motivation and all those kind of things rolled in together. And of course, the last thing we'll do is we'll look at a real life example of somebody who shifted that mindset. When people use that label about themselves, or they've accepted that label of being lazy, the idea here is that they don't do things that they know they should do, maybe even want to do, but they just can't do it, right? Just being lazy. It's not about lazy. They don't have a good enough reason or the motivation internally, that motivation strategy they're using or running to do that particular activity isn't great enough, right? So whatever they are doing instead in that moment has greater value to them, greater motivational value than what it is they want to do or feel they should do, need to do, what have you. So it's not this laziness is a poor label to accept because it's a negative connotation and it's not really true. It's really about how to figure out how to get yourself motivated to do whatever it is you are feeling lazy about. All right. Now, associated with this motivation is that idea of values and what is important to you. So you've got to learn to be able to link the things that are most important to you with this activity that you are being lazy about. But the other issue besides just this motivation and the values associated are the beliefs, right? These limiting beliefs. So the whole idea that laziness that has a negative connotation, that you are lazy, if you've accepted that as part of who you are, then you really need to look at changing that and reframing that and letting go of that limiting belief, because you will behave that way no matter what your motivation might be, because you're not going to lose your identity. So it's one thing to just kind of call yourself that, and it's another to really have accepted that as who you actually are. Like that is part ingrained in you. If it's to that extreme, there's a little more work that you're going to need to do to change that belief. So your beliefs around the importance of doing things, about who you are, those beliefs have got to be identified so that you can then eliminate them, right? And there are, again, I've said this in other videos, there are ways that you can change beliefs. You can override beliefs by saying positive things over and over again. So in this case, when it comes related to your mindset around being lazy or the motivation, it's really about what is important to you and kind of graining that over and over and why that needs to be done, why that is you, this new identity of who you are, right? The other way is to literally change how you represent the belief. That's the quickest and easiest way, but generally you need some help doing that. You might need some guidance doing that. A switch pattern is a technique that can be used to actually change how you represent a belief. All right, so you're kind of working on your beliefs. You've cleaned that up some. You've attached these tasks that you need to do with your values, the things that are most important to you. So you're finding that internal intrinsic importance for doing it, right? That's where those values come into. Now it's about building the daily practice, right? You've got to get yourself actually doing this. Start small, start simple. You've worked on your motivation. This is something that you reinforce by doing, right? So every day, what's the task that you need to do that you've been avoiding? What are some of these activities that need to get done that you've been avoiding? Is it just cleaning the house? Oh, right? You got to clean up after yourself, after cleaning the kitchen, after cooking, rather than leaving dishes in the sink. Whatever it is, right? You start with that simple task. You break down the goals, the things you need to do. You've attached the reason, the why, attaching it to your values, the things that are most important to you. And then you have to do it. You have to follow through, right? So you break down those simple daily tasks into, all right, we're going to start by making sure I clean the kitchen every day, right? I start by, I'm going to get up earlier. I can't sleep in. Going to get up earlier so I can have more time in my morning routine. All right, so what are those steps to get up earlier? What do you need to do to make sure that happens? What are the practical strategies? Moving the alarm clock across the room. Automatically having the temperature of your room set so that it will warm up about an hour before you need to get up. So it's hot by the time you need to get up. Why? Because if it's too hot, you don't want to go back to bed, right? So little strategies like that, you need to create those and then check them off. Celebrate each time you've done one. Celebrate, check it off, right? That is incredibly powerful, just doing that simple little check off of a to-do list. The other thing that's going to really help you implement all these is accountability support, right? This is true with anything. It's the power of synergy. When you have somebody who's going to do this with you, hold you accountable, remind you, help you get up, whatever, help you follow through, that's really, really powerful, right? 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2 when we're dealing with the power of synergy and accountability. So find an accountability partner, tell them what your plans are, tell them what your goals are, and insist on having them hold you accountable, which really means you are willing to give up something of value to you if you don't follow through. So be creative with that as well. All right, so I'm smiling a little bit because I'm going to talk about my son. And he had some challenges of like basic chores, right? Things, staying organized, keeping things, putting things back in their place, having a uncluttered environment, right? Little things like that that we would harp on and have to nag, and all those things that parents often do, up until college. All right? Now, he was a commuter, so he would go into the local university, playing baseball there, and he really began to realize the connection between both the athletics, which is something else I had talked a lot about and worked with him on, is uncluttering your mind and your space. So uncluttering your mind was already there. He understood it. He could see it in the athletic realm. He finally made that connection about uncluttered space, work environment, study environment. So his mindset around laziness for that, he wasn't motivated to do it, ultimately. It clicked. He finally got that motivation shift in and realized how important it was. So when he changed his bedroom around, all of a sudden things were being organized, uncluttered, everything had its space. And he began to do that in not just the studying area, but other areas of his life. Things with taking care of things around the kitchen that didn't used to get done right off. Those things began to shift as well as that mindset about and that labor around being lazy shifted. I invite you to subscribe to our channel, check out the other videos, but I also love to have you comment on this video, like it, share it, but your comments would be helpful as we look at those comments and try to analyze and improve our videos. So comment below, like it, share it, but let's get you engaged.